Hey everybody, this is Joe and Will, Input Left, your favorite YouTube channel that is both gaming and a wonderful space for progressive folks. We are joining together once again to continue our Pokemon Diamond playthrough. Pokemon Diamond, the greatest Pokemon game of all time. I'm passing it over to my boy Will over here with some updates.
All right, everybody. Now, you may have heard there in Joe's voice that we have leftist audio no longer. We have made some significant upgrades to our audio setups, and I think you may be able to tell the difference immediately.
I really hope so. We put a lot of work into it.
Yeah. If everything goes according to plan, there hopefully shouldn't be any more white noise. We're gonna try to project our voices a bit better as well to avoid, the sort of mumbling, trailing off and stuff. But I think you'll come to enjoy it for sure.
I think you'll probably feel like you're in a new league with this one, a new level of professional video content.
Oh yeah, I should hope so. And so yeah, just before we get this video started off, I had a couple things I wanted to address. The first of which is, in the previous episode, episode 4, I made a number of false or misleading claims. I would have gotten several Pinocchios from the Washington Post, I suspect. Among those were current and former U.S. politicians killing each other in the woods. That never happened. But the most heinous of all of them was when I completely misspoke and said that hustle makes your moves miss like 80% of the time, when of course the inverse is true, roughly. So for any Pokemon fans out there who already left paragraph long comments underneath that video, I sincerely apologize for my transgressions.
Yeah, you can get dazzled over that one.
I think I will be.
Yeah,
in all likelihood.
No longer a PokeTuber.
Very short-lived.
I'm excited, aren't we? We're battling our rival this episode, I think.
Oh, we are battling our rival. I'm very nervous because I believe the rival's gonna have 6 Pokemon, all probably around level 9, if I'm remembering right.
Okay.
Like we said at the last episode, I don't know if you're gonna include any of the grinding footage in here, Joe, at like the beginning of the episode, like a couple highlights maybe. But if not, we did grind all of our Pokemon minus Corsola, that is Sessions 4 up to level 11.
Sessions 4. Sessions 4 has been banked. He's
been banked for the time being. I actually was looking up, the learn sets in Gen 4, and there's a part of me that almost regrets that, because Session 4, though its, stats are not necessarily all that good, does get some decent moves relatively early. Like, it does get Bubble Beam before too long, it gets Rock Blast before too long. And those are solid stab moves, even if its offensive stats are kind of low. So maybe I should use it over Kasich. Don't know yet. Not sure about that. But we're going to keep this team for the time being. We're going to hope it is enough to carry us through this upcoming fight.
Well, someone will fall and we'll have Sessions 4 ready and raring to go.
To take their place, yeah.
Exactly.
All right, I'm going to lead with Kamala. We're going to hope to get like some nice juicy Thunder Waves off. And yeah, I think...
All right.
I think that's just gonna have to cover it.
Yeah, start with the prosecution right off the bat.
There is a small part of me that seems to remember that you can actually, so you see how there's the line, the grass up there in the top right of the screen. I think that the event flag that triggers this fight is actually one tile to the right of that first row of grass. So we might be able to get an encounter here first, but I may be mistaken on that.
Is that useful? Do you want that?
Yeah, because we may have another Pokemon we can use against him. Oh no, I'm wrong.
See, you didn't put in the 900 hours. You would need to know that one.
Yeah, I know.
Of course I got tougher. Come on, let's battle it out.
All right.
Will.
Let's battle it out.
All right.
Oh, don't.
So I have to.
Okay. So since it's the first rival battle, I think they still just kept him at 2 Pokemon instead of 6.
Wow, all the build up for.
I know. Well, because the first rival battle in this game is so late, I thought that they might just give him 6 from the get go. Normally the first rival battle happens immediately, and of course they don't give him 6 Pokemon. Then, Oh, it's the people that designed the randomization software.
I thought
So
I thought you set this up.
Well, I did, but you know, I didn't code the randomizer myself. So yeah, normally, you know, your first rival battle happens in the first few minutes of the game. Oh, I still have the animations off for the battle. I'm sorry about that, guys. That was from grinding. And so they don't have like
missing
6
out
Pokemon
on
in the very first
some really good art. That's okay. I'll animate it and some effects here.
Oh yeah, please, please. Give us a nice twister effect.
Right now, I want like an earthquake and some flames.
Don't get cocky, kid. Nice.
Don't get cocky. This isn't over yet.
This isn't Star Wars.
So, all right. So this is actually there is so much hype and also so much grinding involved to take us to this ultimately pretty pathetic battle.
Oh, his starters, the Ekans as well. I forgot that we knew that. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
here's my question: is he gonna keep these 2 Pokemon no matter what?
No, he will only keep
sets.
He will only keep the Ekans throughout the whole
game.
Yeah.
All right.
And it'll eventually become an Arbok.
So his entire team will be randomized each time, or it's gonna be randomized once, and they're gonna.
His entire team will be randomized every time, except for the Ekans. You will always have that Ekans.
Except for the Ekans. Got it. Arbok.
Okay, yeah, that was significantly easier than I thought it was going to be. I was like,
well, I think we're ready to take on the gym then.
You know?
Yeah, I think we can probably go straight to the gym, right? After some healing.
Wow.
Or do you want to get the encounter?
Okay, of course I want to get the encounter. Are you crazy?
Oh.
You look at our team, right? Like, we have several very replaceable Pokemon on it.
What? Wow.
I'm sorry. No
I've really grown to love. I mean, besides Fish Collins, I've really grown to love our team.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, well, I guess we'll go straight to this first encounter, right?
Yeah, we've got a first encounter here on Route 203.
Hopefully we get a legendary. I would love to have
we might struggle to catch
Roar of Time.
But let's see.
Wow, true. I hope we have enough Pokeballs.
Hypno.
Hey. Psychic type.
It's a pretty good, you know, it's a nice solid Pokemon, is what I would say.
Yeah, I mean, I'd like to use.
I forgot to turn the animations on again, but that's fine. Honestly. It's just
okay. I'll remember. I'll remember after this fight.
All right.
So what's this guy's catch rate like? 40 something?
It's probably not that low, so I don't think it'd be too hard to catch. I'm trying to think if there's anything that we could hit him for that would be like it's gotta have more than 11 health, right? So like Nightshade shouldn't kill it. I should think so.
Oh man, I don't know. He's level 4, so
yeah, but he's an
evolved
Pokemon.
But all right, go for it.
I'm gonna go for the Nightshade. I'm gonna go for the Nightshade.
If we lose him, we lose him. We have Corsola still as backup. Sessions 4. Exerting its pressure. My favorite ability. All right, do it to him. Oh, jeez.
Okay. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we were not even close. He's like 25 health. Well, Will, I don't know if you heard about the big May 1 announcement.
Oh, the thing about vaccine eligibility for American adults.
Yeah. Did you hear did you get to see Joe Biden's speech on it though?
No, I actually didn't end up watching it.
So it was really interesting because it goes on long. It's a lot of like just kind of from his head stuff. But it's so interesting this moment, and nobody is talking about it that I know of, and I'm very curious. When he announces the date where all Americans will be vaccinated, he says May 1. He doesn't say May 1st. And that seemed kind of, almost like a Trumpian moment for me. Like he misspoke, and then he also doubled down on it. And so he repeated May 1, May 1, and May 1 several times. And here's my theory. He kept... Oh, also, great job at catching him.
Thank you.
But he said May 1... I have two theories. He either said May 1 on accident the first time, and then decided that if he kept saying May 1 over and over again, it would appear intentional. My other theory is, we should name this guy Joe Biden after this conversation.
You think so? That's what I was gonna say. Is like, Like, who are we gonna name this kind of
Hypnotizing.
creepy, child-stealing, hypnotizing, old man-looking Pokemon? There's a lot of good choices, frankly.
He hypnotizes the American people
With his sleepy speeches. You think this? You know what? Maybe you're right. Maybe this is Biden. This is where the election.
With his unity. With his unity messaging.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think
he
this
says,
is the time.
"We are all one American people. Join me."
Now's the time for healing, Jack.
Oh, you have to voice this this character.
I'm gonna use hypnosis, Jack.
Yo, I almost want to get him on the team right away.
I think I will replace something with him. Probably Fish Collins, even though we have that stab water move on her. Eventually, Vaporeon is gonna completely surpass Fish Collins in every conceivable way. Yeah, I mean, the May 1 thing is interesting. But I would say that it's perhaps not that strange.
I don't know. Who says May 1? Why wouldn't he say May 1st? Here's my other theory is, and maybe this is just me that's getting a lot of reactions to it.
It certainly sounds like it.
That some advisor went up to him and said, "Say May 1. It'll stick in their head more because it's so awkward. Like, don't say May 1st. Say May 1 and say it several times so people think, why do you say May 1? But maybe people just talk like that, and I completely missed out on the memo.
I think some people do talk like that. Is what it comes down to. Yeah.
Like I would never say like, oh, like, hey, you want to meet up on February 1?
I would certainly never say that, but I think in like a formal capacity, sometimes people say that. Is my understanding, but I could be totally wrong. Maybe he just said it in a bizarre way.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe he's also like 90 years old, so I'm sure there's a different standard of dialect.
Yeah.
We call it 40s vernacular.
I'm gonna briefly grind up Mr. Biden here. So
sure. Make sure you. Well.
Do you have anything else?
I was just gonna say to turn on the animations, but not if you're gonna.
Actually, good point. Yeah, we are gonna grind. So. If there's anything else you'd like to talk about in the meantime, let's go ahead and do so.
Yeah. Well, a lot has happened since our last recording session. I mean, Nevada had a great, amazing coup d'etat. Ron Johnson has made some interesting comments. I watched the Black Messiah movie, which was really good. All things I was thinking about. But I'm sure you heard a little bit about what happened in Nevada, right?
Yeah, in fact, I remember I sent an article to you, which you'd already sort of seen, I think.
Yeah, so I was. Oh, I will. And this is a good, happy, positive story for if you're one of our listeners and we're hitting the correct demographic. And if you have a bad reaction to this story, then
get out.
Well, I'm sorry. Still, you should. I'm glad you enjoy our content. Please stick on. But where we can respectfully disagree. But what happened in Nevada, basically, and state parties, I guess the important context here, state parties have their own leadership structures, their own organizing machines. They're separate from the national political parties. In Minnesota, there's the DFL. In the North and South Dakota, there's like the People's Party of whatever. And in every other state, it's just the Democratic and Republican Party, but at the state level. Nevada's structure has apparently 5 leadership positions and an executive director as well. And those 5 positions, people run for those positions of the state leadership of the party. And my understanding of the story is that Democratic Socialists took all 5 of the state party leadership positions, and they also swept pretty well in state race. Oh my God, it's a Raikou.
Yeah, we found one of these earlier. Yeah.
Oh, okay. They swept in state races as well, and basically took over the state. And so all the like old guard moderates staffers quit, like every single one of them. And it just brought a lot of joy to my heart, just to see like a win like that. I always say that, like, oh no.
Yeah, I was waiting for you to realize what happened.
Oh,
I didn't want to interrupt you. Okay,
speaking of a sweep against
this
the
was
moderates.
crazy. So confusion didn't kill, which I was sort of expecting it wouldn't kill there. I forgot it had bite. I'll be honest, completely slow my mind. This thing had bite, but I did not think it was gonna kill. But it was a crit. That's the thing. That crit 100% mattered. In fact, I feel like that crit barely killed as well. So Joe Biden already gone. It looks like you're back on the team, Fish Collins.
Oh, that was so fast.
I know.
That was his first battle, right?
Just sloppy. No, it wasn't the first one. It was like the fourth one.
Oh, well.
I'm so sorry.
End of the grinding session.
It was a strong
good news
Pokemon. I'm very
good news and bad news. Good news, we took over Nevada State Party. Bad news, we lost Joe Biden, and not the real one. So do some healing up. It's okay. At least we didn't grow too attached to him.
Is this like a metaphor for his presidency? Do you think? Gets the first couple months.
Now Kamala's gonna step in. So
that's true. They barely got to interact, and already stolen away. Wait.
But there's been a big issue with with organizing, movement organizing, basically being always done towards like a national cause and not enough at the state levels. And I've just been so happy in the last year, since the last election, to see so many wins in progressive and leftist movements at the state levels. And like Florida won the fight for 15, right? Nevada, we had this recent win, and you're just seeing a lot of like wage increases, successful union mobilizations, and some really, really exciting things.
I actually did just want to riff on the Florida minimum wage increase, because I think a lot of people already forgot that. So we've talked a lot about the $1.9 trillion COVID relief bill. One thing I think we neglected to mention in our previous discussions of it is the fact that at one point there is a planned minimum wage increase included in the bill itself. But the Senate parliamentarian, of course, was like, you can't do that in budget reconciliation. And they just chose, to say like, okay, well, we're not going to try to override them. We give up. You got us. And there's
Go ahead.
I was gonna say there's been a lot of discourse, whether or not you think that's a good or bad thing, that like, oh, you should just overrule them or like whatever. There's been a lot of discourse about a $15 minimum wage as a result of this, right? And a lot of people are like, oh, it's a deeply unpopular position, like these, people in like West Virginia and stuff, like Joe Manchin's state, aren't going to want it. Like it's this huge weight you're attaching to them, right? And their future chances of success electorally. But then you look at states like Florida, which are effectively red states, the minimum wage beat both Trump and Biden there by huge percentages, like 15% or something.
Oh yeah.
Like, how have we already forgotten about this, right? That the $15 minimum wage is a very, very popular idea, even in more Republican stronghold states.
And that's due to the work of organizers for, a decade drilling this in. And now it's at the point where I think it's up to like 60 or 70% like of Americans like support it. Like it's very high, right? Like support for the $15 minimum wage.
Yeah.
Also, $15 is not the same radical position as, and I mean that in a good way, but it's not the same kind of groundbreaking position it was 10 years ago.
That's
now it should really be like 18, 20, right? Like, but regardless, the support is a lot greater, and people are ready for it. And these people in these states that think that'll cost them an election, like, it could help them. I mean, people just people who are, obviously also people who are not participating right now in politics and in movement work. They feel the difference in their lives, right? When you have a significant wage increase. So,
and it's not going to completely collapse the entire economy. One of my favorite pushbacks to the notion, because people always come in and they're like, but if you do that, right? If you increase the minimum wage, half of small businesses in America are gonna explode or something, right? And these are the same people that think that capitalism is like a good system. We continue to use it. And one of my favorite clapbacks to this whole notion is like, if capitalism is such a good structure, then why does increasing the minimum wage completely destroy it? How is it that fragile, right? That it can be upended by something so minor, effectively.
Well, and it's not even like, I think it's not even like the equivalent of what it was in today's dollars from when it was passed. Like I believe, I could be wrong, that the federal minimum wage is as low as it's ever been in like today's dollars,
yes.
right?
I except for the points, of course, where there was no wage, and perhaps even like in the early days of the minimum wage. But yeah, like where it is now, which is still $7.25 federally, correct? Is extremely low in today's dollars. Extremely low. $15 per hour will still not be a living wage in some parts of the country. If you work
most
a 40-hour work
you cannot live on.
Yeah. If you work a 40-hour work week in some parts of the country, a lot of major cities, and you earn $15 an hour, and that's your only job, that's your only source of income, that is still not enough to survive in some parts of this country, let alone provide for a family.
Exactly. Thank you. I was honestly realized we're just over 20 minutes, I think. I just want to know if you want to call it here before we do the gym next episode.
The gym is still a ways away. I think we should make it up to this cave, get our cave encounter. I think that'll be a good place to call it, probably.
Okay, sounds good. Yeah. I mean, just to close off that conversation, I mean, everything, I guess the classic liberal economic argument for no minimum wage is like, we live in a competitive economy where wages are basically set by competitive labor economy, right? Like a wage will meet naturally, like the invisible hand will set it where it needs to be. And it's really, obviously that's not how it works. It's really a race to the bottom. And that's because people don't have unlimited jobs to choose from that will, settle the wage at like some competitive rate, right? There's a million factors that have to force you into a labor choice. One being like, if you can't drive, you're limited, right? If you have a busy schedule, you're limited. And all of these things put a worker in a very difficult position where they have to settle for a lower wage. And then what you get, it's basically a race to the bottom in a lot of places. Like there are still many states that don't have, I think, what did you say? Most states that don't have anything above the federal minimum, or at least.
I don't know the exact statistics. Like I know where I live, Illinois, it's a bit above the federal. It depends on which county you're in, I think, even. Like Cook County, I think, is even higher, but I think the statewide minimum wage is like somewhere around $8 or $9 per hour, though it may have increased beyond that at this point. I'm not totally sure. But yeah, there are several states at least where there is no higher state minimum wage. 100%.
But also, there's what I really like to tell people, and this is kind of like something I learned in econ. And normally you think of economics courses as like indoctrinating people to capitalism. And it's true. It's true in a lot of economics courses. There's also topics that sometimes are just brushed over that I remember in my class, I had this moment where I was like, wait a minute, wait. Can you go back and talk a little more about that? And it was it's called I don't know if you've heard of this concept. It's called the marginal propensity to consume, MPC.
I don't think I have heard of that. No.
Basically it's calculatable, I think, and it basically says the less money you have, the more money you'll spend, like as a like percentage of your wealth, right? Or lack of wealth in this case. Like if you have and here's how it goes, and maybe you've seen a graphic like this, but the basic thing is like everybody needs a fridge, pretty much,
right?
You basically cannot live without a fridge. But the richer you get, the amount of fridges you need does not scale, basically, right? Like you can get more houses. You can have 10 houses. You can have 10 fridges for 10 houses. But when you're at that point, you're probably having hundreds of thousands times more wealth, right? Than someone who needed one fridge. And so basically the idea is the less you have in terms of wealth, the greater percentage you're spending, which means if you invest and you implement measures that put working in lower classes into a stronger position, that dollar, and this is even a capitalist argument for like a minimum wage increase, right? Like that dollar is going to multiply at least 2 times, maybe 5 to 7 times, if you're investing in the right folks. Versus if you give $1 to a billionaire, that does nothing.
Yeah.
If you take $1 from a billionaire, still basically does nothing, right? But like everybody needs the same amount of toilet paper.
I think this is a concept that a lot of people
you know?
can actually intuit, without needing to spell out for them. It's something that I've even sort of like thought of somewhat before. It reminds me of this part of the minimum wage discussion where people's focus on only one consequence of it, which is that, small business owners will have to pay their employees more money, and don't focus on the fact that the employees of these small businesses have more money to put back into the economy, which they will do because of what you're talking about. The fact that they need to spend this money that they're getting on things
they'll put it into the company they work at.
Almost certainly. Yeah.
As you know, my mom works she works for the Disney store retail. And I'm pretty confident one of the biggest Disney store customer groups is the employees. And it's not just because they get a discount. It's because
they love
the people that work there because they love Disney enough that they'll work here. The minimum wage is $10 outside the city, and they'll work for $10 an hour. Now it's like 10, whatever. They'll work for $10 an hour, and every shift they'll be buying like a stuffed plushie that costs them like 2 hours on their work. Right? So you pay them more. They're gonna buy more Disney stuff. You're not actually gonna lose any money, and they're gonna provide you with better quality work, right? Because you're not stealing their labor. They're gonna feel happy about the amount they're making.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, not only will they just spend more and put more into the economy and create more jobs, right? There's tons behind that. A lot of places, they're actually going to spend more at the place they work, which is some very weird phenomenon, right? No matter where you work. I remember when I worked for Box Lunch, and they sell basically geek merchandise, and like, not gonna lie, like significant chunk of my paycheck went to Box Lunch.
I'm aware. You kept talking about all these new things you were buying from there, and I was like, I hope that's a nice employee discount you're getting.
Dude, their stuff is so cool.
Hashtag not an ad.
not sponsored or anything, but it's really cool official licensed merch. That's pretty much it. I mean, I think we concluded that please raise the minimum wage.
I think that hopefully we've made our positions on the topic clear, maybe given you guys a few more things to think about.
Comment down below. Gotta say that. Yeah, we haven't done that yet. Comment down below. No. Do you support a $15 minimum? No, actually, that's a bad question.
That's not a good question.
What is your minimum wage that you support? 15, 20, 25, 50?
The one problem with that is, you're just gonna get some chuds in the comments. You're gonna go like $0. Let the free market set the minimum wage.
That's okay. That's still good for the algorithm.
I guess that you're right. Please comment down below if you're enraged by this topic and you made it this far.
Please, I would actually love to see someone start commenting enraged, like, we need no minimum wage. This is socialism at its finest. That's what I want.
A nice pet to keep around.
Yeah. I mean, as you know, I've worked on campaigns, and my favorite thing is to receive that email from an angry person. I've had a couple of them. One was that you get pretty frequently is, you're going to hell. You are spreading Satan's messages, like very like religious right stuff, right?
Really, yeah.
That's a very fascinating.
Are your candidates you're supporting like very explicitly like pro-choice? Is that a big element of what they're doing, or?
I think they happen to be pro-choice,
right?
I've never worked on a candidate where like one of the pillars of their campaign was reproductive rights or anything. Like, they're just Democrats. Like they're just progressive Democrats. So,
Like the pillars of their campaign are like, I want to give like single parents more assistance or something, and you're going to hell. You can't do that.
I mean, like the one that I mean, I've always had, I think, racial justice being an emphasis in the campaigns I've worked on, and another one I actually was pretty recent. They sent an email to my candidate, and it said, please stop this critical race theory propaganda. I wasn't planning on getting involved in this race, but now I'm going to be actively working against you. Who's that black author who just who's been kind of popular lately in the wake of the uprising?
Ta-Nehisi Coates.
No. I even heard him speak in person. Actually, it was really amazing. His name will come to me. In any sense, I'll plug it. In any sense, this person that's angry is like citing like actual like race theorists that like you wouldn't know unless you were pretty well versed on it.
Right.
and like they're using like a very high like this is a university educated person that is like spewing off this absolute nonsense. And, it's pretty scary stuff to know. There are people out here that like, it's not this classic like, oh, they live in the middle of nowhere, they're uneducated. No, these are like upper income, educated people who are spewing out hateful, pretty wild stuff.
I think that's one of the great mistakes that a lot of people particularly those like that are sort of center left have made with respect to the whole era of Trump is they assume that most, if not all of Trump's most fervent supporters are largely uneducated, and that's a weakness that has been exploited by the Republican Party. And though that is certainly true to an extent, that there are a lot of those people, a lot of his base is also well-educated, pretty financially stable, and well-off people, right? Like, you can't ignore those people. And there are very many of them. Many of them stormed the Capitol alongside others, right?
Yeah, like much has been said about the Republicans taking away like the middle class base and starting to organize the underclass of American society. And like the reality is Trump supporters have a higher like median and average income than
right
Democrats, basically. 100%. Right? Like so
I don't want us to think, because like there's a lot of people who fall into this like strange trap where they start to think that like, is the GOP the real, like actually representing more of the working class at this point than the Democrats are? Absolutely not. But that's the impression that people get because of their image of Trump supporters as uneducated, like deplorables or whatever.
Yeah, the front lines that we see is kind of this. A lot of them are like working class. A lot of them, are also not. But you don't see as much the kind of quiet. Oh yeah, like. I wouldn't do it his way, but I vote for him. I support him. I donate to him. I have a MAGA hat in my closet.
Right, exactly. Like they're virtually as fervent.
Right. Yeah. Oh, you're getting up to this cave.
Yeah, sorry. I just want to get this item, and then I'm gonna dip into that cave. I promise.
Yeah, you're really giving me a long editing job for this one.
I'm sorry. Well, I just felt like I didn't want to quite end the conversation there.
No, it's been a good one. Yeah, it's been a good one.
Yeah.
Oh, what's in the Poke? Oh, it's randomized, right?
Yeah, Max Ether. That's probably not gonna be very useful. Maybe in between Elite Four fights, that'll come into play.
I was gonna say for the Elite Four, yeah.
Yeah. Hey, look at him.
No. Oh.
I'm still upset that we lost Joe Biden. I'm gonna come out and say it again.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, Hypno is a pretty strong Pokemon at this point in the game. Like, it's not bad at all.
So I actually wanted to know: does the dupes clause or the dupes rule? If we lose a Pokemon, does it still apply?
It still applies, yes. So we can't get another Drowsy or Hypno ever.
Oh man.
All right.
Want to save it here?
Yeah. Oh, I was gonna get the encounter now, but.
Yeah.
I guess we could cliffhanger though if you want. What do you think?
Yeah, cliffhanger. You want to see who we're gonna catch? You have to tune in to the next episode.
The Orber Gate. Exactly. All right, thanks everyone for watching. yeah, we'll look forward to seeing you and whoever we catch next time in the next episode.
Bye.